Welcome back to another video on the law of attraction. Now in this video, I just want to talk about the law of attraction to kind of help people understand the law of attraction a little bit better in order to be able to manifest the lives that you actually want. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there that talk about the law of attraction. They talk about all the techniques. You need to, get a cup of water and then say 3 prayers and a bunch of affirmations, and then you're going to have everything you ever wanted. But it's not that easy. I mean, all of us know that if it was that easy, everyone would have had everything that they've always wanted, right? So for a long time, I've delved into the law of attraction. I've literally tried to uncover what the secret is. Is there a formula? And what it is? How does it work? So I've uncovered a ton of stuff, and I've been doing this now for the last, I almost want to say about 18 years, that I've literally been obsessed about the law of attraction, finding that sweet formula, that sweet spot, in order to just on demand be able to manifest everything that I want, or that I've always wanted. And along the way, I've uncovered so much, and that's what I want to share with all of you, so that you can have more faith in this law of attraction. Now, I want to say that the law of attraction is definitely real. It's not something that's just made up. It's definitely real. It's like the law of gravity. Unfortunately, we cannot see that. It's not a tangible thing. We can only see the results based upon our efforts that we put into manifestation. But it is definitely real. That is one thing that I can tell you. So I want to kind of just break it down to what the law of attraction for me, how it works for me, and what you need to do, or what you can do in order to increase your chances, or even your understanding of the law of attraction, so that you can kind of know whether or not it's something that you can actually achieve. Because for a lot of people, the law of attraction is this magical thing that you can just overnight manifest something that you want. It's almost like having cash in your hand, and you can decide upon at any given moment that you just want to buy something because you want that thing now. But the question you need to ask yourself is, how badly do I actually want the thing that I want to manifest at the moment? Now, that can be anything. I mean, we all break down into the main categories, which is for most people, it's money or relationships or health, right? But it can be anything that you want to manifest. Now, think about this. If I want to manifest, or if I want to buy something small, like a cup of coffee, I've got the money to buy a cup of coffee, right? So I can decide at this moment, do I want it or not? And in this moment, I might want it, so I can take that money and I go out and go buy a cup of coffee. And maybe if I just waited an hour, I would not have wanted that cup of coffee anymore, right? So it's all about, what do we want now in this moment? Now, the law of attraction, when it comes to big things like manifesting a lot of money, or a much better career, or a relationship, whatever it is, right? That in most cases, that's a little bit bigger goal that all of us want. And the question is, are you willing to do what's needed in order to get that thing? Because manifestation, as much as it is this magical power from the universe, it also requires a lot of effort from your side. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more in maybe a later video with regards to the energy that you need to expel in order to attract that energy, or like energy, right? So it's not something that you can just get for free. It just doesn't work that way. You need to expel certain amounts of energy in order to attract similar amount of energy, or something of similar value in the form of energy back into your life. So some people might want, let's say, a relationship, yet they're not willing to put in the effort that is needed and to change who they are in order to attract that specific relationship. They just want that because now, let's say, a lot of their friends have such a relationship, and they want it now because it's important to them now. But are you willing to change your entire life in order to match vibrationally with that person? So you need to ask yourself, what do you really want? Because a lot of us we just look at the outside world and we look at social media and we think that, okay, for now, where I am in my life now, I want this, or I want that car, or I want this job, or I want that money, or I want the fame, or whatever it is. But you need to ask yourself, like, is that something that I really want for the rest of my life? Am I willing to change who I am fundamentally, permanently, to attract that thing? And would I be okay? I'm not saying you have to attract something in your life and then keep it in your life for the rest of your life, but you almost need to be willing. You need to be passionate enough about the thing that you want in order to be able to get the law of attraction to work, because you have to believe that this is truly what you want in your life. It's not something that you say, you know what, I would like to get that, so I want the technique to bring that into my life, yet I don't want to put in the effort. I don't want to, I'm not willing to do this or do that, or change my life, or act a different way, or think a different way. So first of all, that's something that you need to ask yourself, is this truly what I've always wanted, what I'm passionate about, what I'm obsessed about, and what I would really like to do before the day that I die, right? So that's the one thing that you need to ask yourself about the law of attraction. And then secondly, the law of attraction is almost broken down into two sides. Certain things are easy to manifest and certain things aren't. So, I mean, if you are watching this video, I'm sure that you have something that you really would like to manifest that you've never been able to attain in your life. And other things just come naturally to you. Now, if you think about anybody else, think about a friend or a family member or whatever, right? Now, that family member, you might have something, and it might be in the form of anything. It might not be a tangible physical asset. It might be something like happiness, right? Or let's say depression, or a peace of mind. So you might have a family member, a sibling or a cousin, or even a friend that's struggling with depression, and you've never struggled with depression. So that is something, the lack thereof, the lack of depression, or let's call it the presence of peace of mind, is not something that is just, it's also something that you've attracted into your life. Now, you might have always had it, and not consciously attracted it into your life, but you've always had it. But it's still something that you are currently attracting into life, because everything has an opposite. So if you've got, let's say, and I'm just using this as an example, but if you have peace of mind now, the opposite of peace of mind is a mental illness, like depression or anxiety or whatever the case might be. So if you've always had that, it means that you are consistently and currently and every day, day by day, attracting that into your life, instead of the opposite, which is a mental illness, right? So you might just have that one thing, and you might think that, okay, well, I'm just lucky I didn't attract, or I didn't contract depression. But it's literally the opposite to what you currently have. You are attracting that one thing. You also get people with a lot of money. Money just comes to them naturally. And then you get people in poverty that don't have money. So it's just the opposite. So one person is attracting the one naturally without doing anything mentally, without applying the law of attraction consciously, but it's just naturally coming to them. So the two sides are the things that you're currently wanting, that you're struggling to manifest. Now, there's a reason why that is. And the things that you already have in your life that you are not consciously trying to manifest every single day. Now, where it comes in is, obviously, I'm sure you've heard this before, but it all comes down to what you believe, right? So it's all about your beliefs. So if you grew up believing that, or if you grew up, and I'm just using this as an example, the mental health or the lack thereof. So if you grew up in a stable household and with stable parents, and you were boasted every day, and you were praised every day for everything that you do, then you would have gained confidence over the years in your being, in who you are. So the chances of you having a stable mental state is much better than somebody that grew up in a household that was in turmoil, there was always fights and arguments and breaking down of their confidence, etc., and ridicule and all of those things. So naturally, that might be your belief, and that's why you're just attracting mental stability into your life every single day, because of the way you think, the way you believe, all of the thoughts that you've gathered that formed your program in your subconscious mind. So certain things, and I mean, there are so many people that say, you know what, I decided that I want to manifest this thing, and I just applied my mind and I thought about it every single day and I obsessed about it, and then within a certain amount of time I manifested that. Now one of those people is Conor McGregor. Now Conor McGregor will always talk about how he saw him beating his opponent in the exact round with the exact shot, etc., and it will always happen. And his words were back to back to back, because it was easier for him. He did not have any limitations mentally that was stronger than his ability to apply his mind, or to keep his focus and attention and his belief in his capability to acquire or to achieve that goal. But for certain people, that's not the case. So you might think about something, and I want you to maybe comment below and tell me what it is that you struggle with, that you've tried actively to manifest, and what things are there that you believe you can, as you are today, think about, put your mind on, and then achieve. Because all of us do have certain things that we can, at this moment, that we don't have, we haven't manifested it now currently in our lives, but we can think about it. We can think about something, and then you'll know whether or not you have what it takes at this moment, the confidence and everything that's needed in order to just keep your attention on that goal, keep your focus, and then attract that within no time. All of us have something like that we are confident in our ability. But then there are the things that we've actively tried over maybe days, months, years, it doesn't matter, that we've tried everything, but we just lack the confidence that we are capable of achieving that one thing. And that's when you know that you've got some form of limiting belief. It might not even be something that you can consciously identify. You might not be able to even figure out what it is that's holding you back. You think it's the outside wall, or you think it's the lack of your opportunities, or your environment that's suppressing your actions, or whatever the case might be. In that case, we tend to always blame the outside world. We blame our parents, or our teachers, or siblings, or our job, or boss, or whatever the case might be. But we never blame ourselves. Reason being is we're not aware of that limiting belief that's holding us back. So you need to figure out first, as I said, if you want whatever it is that you want to manifest, do you truly want that? Are you willing to change your entire being? And that might come with a ton of changes and things that will be uncomfortable. Like you might need to get new friends, or you might need to quit your job and take a risk. But it will always come with a certain amount of tough decisions and hardships and obstacles, because the only way we change, the only way we learn is through hardship, is through struggling. So you need to figure out that thing that you've always wanted. Are you willing to go through the obstacles, to go through the struggles, to change fundamentally, to make the difficult decisions? And that thing that you want, would you be content with that thing being part of your life for the rest of your life? If not, if you say, you know what, I truly want that, I really want that, but I'm not willing to give up these friendships, or I'm not willing to quit my job because it's such a comfortable job, or it pays so much. If you are not willing to give up something that consciously you know you would need to give up in order to get that one thing, then I would really advise or consider or advise you to consider thinking about not obsessing or focusing on that thing that you want so much, because you are going to fail time and again. Because if you're not willing to give up what is needed, you are going to fail, and then you are going to feel like a failure, and you're going to then start blaming the outside world more and more, or you're going to start blaming yourself, or start to get resentful towards other people or the outside world, or lose a lot more confidence. Now, I've been in similar situations where I've tried to attract the wrong thing. One of those was my career. Actually, when I started off right after school, I wanted to become an accountant, and I kept trying and I kept failing, and I had zero interest in the university, in my studies. I didn't want to do it, yet I wanted the recognition and the respect and everything of being a chartered accountant. So I struggled with that for years, but I was not willing to give that idea of all of the respect and just the sense of success. And I wasn't willing to admit that what I truly wanted, what resonated with me, was not in line with being a chartered accountant, having that acclimate of that achievement, or that came with that achievement. I wasn't willing to do that until life kind of pushed me in a direction where I realized, and I got a bit older, and I've wasted a ton of years trying my hand at something that I was not destined to do, that I was not interested to do. But life showed me, and I grew out of that, and I realized that I don't need that respect. I can get it in any other form. In fact, I'll get it even more if I do what I'm actually passionate about, if I do what I'm actually good at, and that resonates with me. So I've wasted a ton of years. So that's just my message, is don't waste your time trying to achieve or manifest something that you are not truly passionate about. Focus on who you are. Focus on what your capabilities are at the moment, and the things that you truly are passionate about deep down. Even if you think, because a lot of us, this is where all of the things that we want kind of clash. It's based on, and we can take a ton of examples. We can take any example. If we take a relationship, we want that type of person. Why? Because we want other people to think that we are successful in our ability in attracting that kind of person. Yet, what that person represents, we don't really want. We want something deep down. We want something that another person might offer us, but they don't fit the profile that will give us that recognition from the outside world. Same with a job. We want the job that will give us the recognition, yet it's not what we're passionate about. We're not even good at it. We don't like it. We don't want to do it. And that's why the stats say that, 75% or something of people are unhappy in their careers. Why? Because they did it for the wrong reason. If we started doing something without thinking about survival, without thinking about money, without thinking about respect and admiration, we will truly find what we are passionate about. And as I mentioned earlier, with regards to the law of attraction, with regards to the energy that you need to exchange in order to gain the same amount of energy back, whatever you do with absolute passion that you are passionate about, and you do it authentically, and you provide some form of service in whichever way, in whichever form to the outside world, that effort will be repaid. And you can ask for any form of repayment, whether it's friendship, relationship, money, or good health, respect, admiration, whatever it is that you want, you can ask for that in that form. But before you can ask, you need to provide. And the only way you can do that is if you are truly passionate about something. Then you can keep it up. Then you provide unconditionally, and you provide more than what is actually expected of you. And that is how you then will be able to manifest something in your life. So first of all, as I said, think about the thing that you actually want to manifest. If you're truly passionate about that one thing, realize that you need to be authentic. Perfection in any craft in any area of life is not perfection when 8 billion people like it or prefer it. Its perfection is when you are the authentic you. So try to break away from perfection. Try to break away from that perfectionism. Rather, focus on being authentically you. The more authentic, the closer to authenticity you go, the closer you'll get to perfection. And perfection to certain people out there that prefer to have you or the service that you offer or whatever it is that you give exactly the way you are, the way you were born. So the reason why I say you need to be absolutely passionate about this is because you need to realize that, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to mention this a few more times, but in order for you to manifest something, you need to become confident. And the only way you can become confident is by exposing yourself to the obstacles that is needed, the lessons you need to learn in order to change who you are and change the way you think and change the way you act. And I guarantee you that some of them will be easier lessons or easier obstacles, easier hardships, but a lot of them will be tough. A lot of them will be extremely difficult for you mentally in order to overcome that, in order to change. So you need to be willing to go through the absolute hardships, to make the tough decisions so that you can gain confidence, so that you can change. And then naturally, the thing that you want will naturally come to you. Law of attraction is not some technique where you sit down and you visualize and you apply your mind and then magically something just comes into your life. Law of attraction is everything that you are confident about. That is law of attraction, period. So whatever you are confident about, you'll attract with ease. Now you need to ask yourself, how do I get confident? Practice makes perfect. So you need to put yourself in that position over and over and over again until you become confident in that one thing. Now in my life, I've tried this so many times and in different areas of my life. Now I might think about, let's take this example. I might think about a certain amount of money, which is the story for a lot of people. Now you might want to manifest a lot of money, but then you realize, okay, I would need to get that job in order to start that business. So I need to get confident in starting the business before I can get confident in manifesting the money. But then you realize, if you break it down, you realize that in order to get confident in starting a business, I need to get confident at, let's say, public speaking. Because without the public speaking, the type of business that I want to run will not be possible. And then you realize that, okay, in order to become confident in public speaking, I would need to change something about myself, right? Can't think of an example now, but it's all layered. You cannot go to the end result. I know a lot of people will preach the law of attraction, say only focus on the end result. But in order to be successful, you need to break it down so that you can understand where you are mentally, so that you can understand and uncover where your mental blocks are. Because you might not know, but in order to get that amount of money that you want to manifest, let's say it's $1 million, you have to start at something that is completely unrelated on a conscious level to that money in order to build up the skill and gain the confidence in order for you to progressively move towards that $1 million or whatever it is that you want to manifest. Same goes for relationships. If you just keep your attention on the relationship, on that partner, a lot of people will say in the law of attraction, I know in The Secret they also spoke on a relationship for a while, and they said, picture yourself living with somebody, picture yourself in a relationship. But for a lot of people, and this is where I've separated the two. So for some people, it comes naturally, it's easy. They've just never had a relationship because of their own choices, but they can at any time, they've got the confidence so they can at any time just decide, okay, I want to settle down. I'm going to paint the picture of living with somebody, being in a relationship, and then just manifesting that a lot easier. But for a lot of people, first they might need to change something about themselves fundamentally, or they need to overcome some negative belief or limiting belief within themselves, or they might need to become happy with themselves before they can go to the next step to manifest that person. Because if you're not happy with yourself, you don't enjoy your own company, how would anybody else enjoy your company? Now, I know you might have heard that a few times, but that's absolutely true. But instead of just focusing on having that person, if you're not happy with yourself, you're in a bad space. There's no point in just focusing on attracting somebody, because first of all, if that works, you might attract the wrong person that resonates with the wrong version of you. You don't want that person in your life. So if there's turmoil in your life now, you don't want to manifest somebody else that will bring even more turmoil into your life. So you need to first fix yourself. You need to first break it down into smaller goals to uncover where the big issue is, because you don't know, but that person or that type of relationship that you might want might not resonate with the version that you are right now. So you cannot stay the same person. So it's one thing to focus on the end result. I would say decide on the end result. The point of keeping your attention, your focus on that end result is just to decide for yourself what it is that you actually want, to make it clear in your mind of what your end goal is, but then start to break it down to say, okay, what do I need to change about myself? What type of confidence would I need in order to attract that person? And then slowly start breaking down what is not in alignment with that person, and then start working on that. Now, it might take a couple of months, but in most cases, you need to be willing for your end goal to take as long as it needs, because it might take a few years, because there might be so many layers that you first need to overcome, and you might fail a few times, but don't get caught up in the now, in what you have now, in the fact that you don't have that end goal now, because that will just make you negative, and you'll lose the momentum, and you'll lose the drive. Give that time. Realize that it's not going to happen overnight, because you've most probably got a lot to learn and a lot to change before you can get to that point, before you can become the person that will end up in that position, or with that thing, or with that relationship, or the money, or whatever it is that you want. And on that journey, you'll learn a lot about yourself. And on that journey, the direction might change a little bit at some times. So to recap, first decide on what it is that you actually want, what it is that you are truly passionate about, that you are willing to change for. And then focus upon that. Focus on what that would look like. Focus on the end goal. But then break it down and say, okay, where do I start? And then break it down into smaller goals and become confident and overcome yourself. And know, as you do this, it's not going to be an easy journey. It's not going to be some kumbaya, sit on a couch and close your eyes and visualize. That type of manifestation only happens for the person that do not have any limiting beliefs regarding the thing that they want to manifest. But for the majority of people that want to manifest something that they've always wanted, but they've just never been able to get that, they've got a certain amount of limiting beliefs. Now, sitting on a couch and visualizing is not going to overcome those. The only way you can overcome those is by facing the obstacles, putting yourself in the position that will challenge you and that will break you down and that will eventually build you up and give you the skills that will give you the confidence in order to naturally then progress to the next step. But it's going to be tough, and that's the one thing you need to remember. So the end goal needs to be worth your while. Whatever it is that you want, you need to be willing to take the shots on the chin, take the punishment, take the hardships, and overcome them in order to get there. So manifestation for something that you do not have limiting beliefs on is easy. For that, I would recommend sit down, focus, keep your attention, and think about that consistently every single second that you can of every single day. But for the things that you have limiting beliefs about, that you feel insecure about, physically put yourself in positions where you can learn that will be in line with on the journey that you want to, on the journey towards the thing that you want. And realize it's going to take some time. It's going to take a long time. It might take 6 months or it might take 6 years, but it's not going to happen overnight, and it's going to be tough, and you need to know this, and you need to be willing to go through that. And if you need some support on your way there, because I know it's a lonely journey, it's a tough journey, then you can always contact me. You can always schedule a meeting with me, or you can always send me a mail, send me a message, and we can go through that together. That's the only way you can actually manifest the things that you want. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.